Hi everyone, welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your all things Everton. We're back with another live stream. Hopefully it sort of evens itself out a little bit, and the stream always starting out takes a little bit to it always ends up slowing down for a few minutes. So yeah, if you're coming in, just bear with us. Joined by James from the Babbling Blues as well. James, thanks for joining me, mate.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Good to see you.
Yeah, and as Toffee Blues John said there in the chat, just get your questions in for us. We're going to be doing a transfer show tonight, talking a bit more about players that we've been linked with. Let me just close that out for a second. Sort myself out. We're going to be doing a transfer show. We're going to be chatting about all the players we've been linked with. The stadium will probably end up coming into it as well. And yeah, we're going to just be chatting all Everton really, which is the point. But we'll answer any of your questions, get any of your questions in for us, and we'll try our best to answer them. Always nice to have a bit of viewer interaction as well. Got a quiz coming at the end of the stream as well. We're going to try and do a Kahoot quiz like over stream with you guys. So I'll put the game pin in. You guys can do it. Hopefully the delay over YouTube doesn't make too much of a problem, but hopefully it works and we can do a nice quiz. If not, I've got a pen and paper and we'll do it caveman style. That's fine by me as well. But yeah, Erwin Koeman says, hi everyone. Hi mate. Thank you for joining the stream. Ian Clark says, we're on the march with Carlo's army. We're all going to Bramley. Leads me on to the first thing we're talking about. James, you happy with the news yesterday? Obviously it was like, it got delayed for a bit, and I'm not going to lie, guys, I forgot about it a bit, and it just popped up. It was a nice surprise.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't been sort of keeping up to date with it really, because it's just like it's so far in the future, and it's one of them. Obviously, I want us to leave because it definitely will benefit the club in the long run. But then leaving Goodison, I just think about having to do that and how horrible that's going to be, and. So I've kind of been a bit wishy-washy with the stadium stuff, but now it looks like it's officially going ahead and we can actually start sort of making some progress that you can actually sort of see, and that's going to be really nice. So I think it's brilliant news, and I am really pleased. But as I say, it's still about 3 and a bit years away, isn't it? So it might be a little while till we start seeing some real progress. But no, great news.
No, it's good news. It's definitely the first step, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're still going to get some weird fellas going down to the wrong dock and filming it and saying that there's no building here, there's no bricks on the ground or whatever. You're probably still going to get that over the next few months. But it looks like now very little can get in the way of stopping it. So, that's I think it's really positive, and I am pleased.
Yeah, sorry guys. As I said there, the stream always cuts out in the first few minutes. Anyway, sorry mate. Where were you there? You were talking about the take a lot now to get in the way of it.
Yeah, I just think now it looks like it's definitely going to happen. So I just need to apologise as well. My hat's in the bathroom and someone's in the shower, and I'm just looking at this lockdown trim. Honestly, it's a nightmare. I didn't realise how bad it looked. I've just come on here, but I've got to live with it now. So, oh well.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, mate. Lockdown haircuts are just the worst. Philip Mason says, hi lads, happy days. Isn't Koulibaly a bit old now? We'll get onto it, Philip, in a few minutes. We'll start talking a little bit more about the rumours, transfer rumours, stuff like that. And what was I going to say as well? And hi to everyone who's in the stream. Hello to Wormy, who's joined, Stephen NG, Erwin Koeman, Ian Clark, and yeah, thanks to everyone for joining. I'll make sure to get a few more questions in now, and make sure you're liking the stream. If you've just joined and you haven't liked the stream, make sure you're liking it, sharing it on all your socials, getting it about. We're going to be live for about an hour, just chatting. And as I said, we've got the quiz coming up at the end of the show, which we'll do with. I'll be quizzing James, and you guys can all get involved. And we're going to try and do it on Kahoot, but seeing as we've already had one outage so far in the stream, it's looking like that's less likely. If not, I'll just give you the questions. You guys can keep your own scores and tell us what you got in the chat, and we'll be doing that at the end of the show. So make sure you stay tuned and watch the whole thing. Erwin Koeman says it will hurt to leave Goodison. Yeah, did you see that post on Twitter, James, about some guy did like a romantic like post on Twitter about like the ciggy breath in the bogs looking like stars in your eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's good. It is gonna hurt though, like.
Oh, it's gonna be like I seen a video. I think maybe Richarlison retweeted it. Just a video of the sort of roar and there's cars before the game, and I just miss that so much. Like of all the things I've missed over this last year, at least I've had like little bits of going to the pub for a couple of months. I've had like bits of playing football. I've had bits of seeing mates, doing stuff for family. I've had like little bits of it. I think we all have, because there's been bits where, you know, it's been safe enough to do a bit of some stuff, but I've not been to Goodison since, I think, last February, something like that. So, and it's horrible. And there were a few posts last night that were upsetting me. I think someone posted something like May 2024, the last ever game at Goodison.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one as well.
That's really, really gonna hurt. And yeah, I just can't wait to get back to Goodison, you know, hopefully before the year's out. So yeah, it's gonna hurt.
It's a crazy thought as well that like you'll be in that generation that saw the last game at Goodison, because it's mad to think, like thinking back now, there's people who were at the first ever game at Goodison, which is a weird thought, and you're going to be one of those people who were at the very last, hopefully. So like it's going to be crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? Because it comes around once every 100 years that something like that happens. Goodison Park, you'd associate with Everton. Everyone does. Everyone knows Goodison Park. It's similar to Upton Park or West Ham. Like you can't imagine one without the other. So it's like it's going to be weird, like actually being there for the final game. Like what are they going to do? It's going to be some crazy stuff. Light shows, some old players coming back. Some hopefully we'll have won a trophy by then. Just hoping there's going to be some stuff. But we'll talk about it a bit more in the chat, guys. Get all your questions in about Branley more, about transfers. Going on to that, Koulibaly. Isn't he a bit old now? I'd say so, but we do want a world-class centre-back, according to Carlo James. So what do you make of him?
I think Koulibaly's been one of the top centre-backs in Europe for the past sort of 4 or 5 seasons. Maybe he's been terrific for Napoli, and I think just the sort of aura of him, to me anyway, from watching bits of Napoli, whether it's in Europe or domestically, is just he has that sort of, you hate to say it, that sort of Van Dijk colossal sort of figure, which is something that a lot of teams are going to want, and he's had a lot of interest in him. For me, I do think he is probably a bit old, and I think in terms of the money we'd still have to pay for him, I can't see it being a particularly productive deal for Everton. I think if we were sat here now and we were, again, you don't want to compare to the other lot, but obviously they were in the top 4 a couple of seasons ago, and they said, well, we need a centre half and a goalie, and they went from there to that. If we were in that situation now where I think we only need a couple of players, sure, I'd say, yeah, go get him, because he will turn us from a team getting into Europe to a team who really can and should be winning trophies. And I'm talking the big trophies, you know, your Premier Leagues and the Champions League, for example. So I think if we were in that scenario, I'd say, yeah, do it, because it'll be worth it. Now, I wouldn't say so myself. I think at 29, and for the money we'd have to spend, probably, I'd say at least 40, 45, 50 million, something like that. That's all I could see us going for. So I do think he is a little bit old, but I do think he is a terrific player. So I just think the timeline hasn't quite fell for Koulibaly at Everton. I think a few years ago when we supposedly bid for him, I think it was 2016 maybe, I think that would have been great. I think that would have been a great bit of business if we somehow could have done that. But yeah, I think the ship's maybe sailed on him myself. Yeah, I think we're having some some fairly serious technical issue with Steve's connection. I'm sure we'll be back in a second.
Right, sorry about that, guys. I'm back now. Has not done that in a while, but I'm back now. Hopefully it stays like that. I changed my settings around, and yeah, hopefully they're back. But I'll go right through the questions. Sorry to interrupt you there, James, as well. I'll leave you. Yeah, very rude.
I was finished anyway. Yeah, I was pretty much. I took my piece, I think. So don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, and we'll be all right. But thank you all for sticking around, and as I said, keep leaving your likes on the streams and keep sharing it around. Where me spoon says, "How is everyone doing?" I'm good, mate. How are you, James? How you been getting on? It's getting closer now to getting let out of lockdown and being able to go out and do stuff, which should be good.
Yeah, it's been all right. I went back to work on Tuesday, came off furlough, so that's been really good. Just having like some routine and just being able to do something with the week. So I think I was in every day last week apart from Monday, and then played a bit of football this afternoon, which was nice. And then, as you say, I think from Monday, I'm playing, I think, football 3 times a week, work 4 days a week. So, yeah, it's finally starting to look up. So, no, yeah, I'm doing all right, thanks.
Yeah, it is good that there's finally a little bit of light, and hopefully by the summer, we'll see a bit more normality. But I'm going back to work in next week as well. I'll get started because I work in a shop, and hopefully, be opening on the 12th, so that'll be good. Philip Mason saying hi there to Wormy. It's nice to see all you guys interact in the chat as well. Ian Clark says, slightly aside, guitars you got hanging up there. I've got I always get mixed up with my sides. This side, that's a Yamaha F10 acoustic one. That's a Gretsch Streamliner electric one, and that's a Squier Stratocaster, like a Fender spin-off electric one. So yeah, thanks for asking, and no worries. Get all your questions in. Be good to answer them. Philip Mason also says, really hoping Everton can start building a serious, young, hungry side. Don't want us to carry on as some sort of retirement home. Yeah, and in some of the questions we got planned for the stream later on, a couple of the names in there will tell you retirement home. So, yeah, I hope so. Especially going into the new grounds, just want like a young crop of players, James.
Absolutely, it's I think now. It's the only way, and I hope we're starting to realise that. I think we signed, obviously, James, who's nearly 30, Alan's just turned 30, Decore's just turned 28. We signed them players, and I think that was a way of Ancelotti saying we need to just get up the table quickly, and that was fine. And we sort of complemented that with, obviously, Godfrey and Nkunku. But I think if you look at the likes of those two I've just mentioned, Branthwaite, Gordon, maybe even potentially Lewis Gibson, potentially Ellis Sims, a couple of lads who are still playing academy football each week and look like real good prospects. Obviously, Thierry Small, Tyrone Younger, those sort of players. I think we need to start making them our core. And obviously, maybe some of the lads we're talking about tonight, and in that right back position is another one who we can get in who's younger. So I think that's definitely the way forward, because you want to buy as low as you can and try and sell as high as you can and just keep on progressing. I think that's the key to success in football. In the place of where we are right now, 2021, I think that's the way to do it. So that's what I'm hoping we can do.
Yeah, it'd be good to see us sign a couple of young players this summer that are going to be like first team when it comes to 2024 or something like that, or 2025, whenever the ground is finished and we're moving into it. Because you expect someone like Aarons. If we were to sign Aarons this summer, he'd probably be hitting his prime age by the time we move to the ground. But I'd like to see us sign a couple of like 18-odd-year-olds, players like that, who are like, by the time it comes to the ground, they're still young players. Do you know what I mean? So I'd definitely like to see that happen. But we do need that. We need to stop being a retirement home, really. Erwin Koeman says, if someone was there for our first game at Goodison in 1892, I would be impressed. Obviously, none of us in the chat, but no, it's mad to think, like, probably in the 60s, 50s, something like that, there were people who were going, yeah, I was there at the first game at Goodison. So, there will have been people. So it's going to be mad to think, like, when I'm old or whatever, to go, yeah, I was at the last game at Goodison. It's going to be a good thing to have on your Everton CV, if you like. But yeah, that's actually a good way of putting it, I think. Your Everton CV, what have you done in your Everton career? Like, furthest away game you've ever been to, most committed you've ever been. So actually put them in the chat, guys. What if you were to pad out your Everton CV, what would you put on it? Mine would probably be got lost on the way to the Liberty Stadium in Swansea and missed the first 30 minutes of the game. And yeah, I travelled all the way there. That's probably up there on mine. But get us it, because some of you guys are a bit older than me, and you'll have better ones. James, you got anything like that?
I think the furthest away game is probably Carlisle, maybe in the cup a few years ago. That was a couple of hours away, sort of 3-4 hours away.
You did didn't you watch a derby in France in like a little ski thing?
No, I think I watched. That was when I watched. I think that was West Brom. I watched, but the one where Morales took the penalty off Baines. Yeah, there was that one. Yeah, I was at the game when Tim Howard scored. That's always a nice one, because you're probably never going to see a goalie score again. Duncan Ferguson's testimonial was a nice one as well, being at the game where him and Wayne Rooney played together again. There's probably a couple more, to be fair. I need to have a little think, but I think those are some of the main ones.
Get them in the chat, guys. What's your most? I don't know. If you were to sort of say, I'm a massive Evertonian, this is what I've done, then you put them in the chat. Tell us what you guys think. Erwin Koeman says Koulibaly is a beast. He would be class. I thought Distan was an old signing and he was class. He was. I don't know how old Distan was when he signed for us, but I know he pretty much finished his career with us, except for that season at Bournemouth. And he was a class player, Sylvain Distan. He was a good centre back and left footed as well. He was the replacement for Lescott, I think, wasn't he, James?
Yeah, it was that summer, wasn't it? Was it the summer when we signed? Oh, no, I think I was about to say when we signed Baines and
Jagielka.
Yeah, that's the one. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, he was a great signing, Distan, but I think the problem is there. I think he was only 5-6 million. If you get Koulibaly for 5 or 6 million, then I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind us signing older players in that regard. We look at James. In fact, I think we signed him for free, and I think Distan was probably about 31, 32 when we signed him, something like that. So I don't necessarily mind signing the odd older players. Just you got to sign them for very cheap or nothing at all. So. Yeah, I think that's probably the only difference, really.
Philip Mason says he thinks he's class, but he's not the kind of investment he wants to see, which you can understand, can't you, to a degree? You can understand maybe not wanting to sign the really old players and stuff like that. But I think he is a fantastic player, and it will be a good signing, in my opinion. But it's going to be a hard one because there's a lot of teams interested in him. Philip Mason says, pay as you go, clearly not working. Yeah, I've switched me router around now, or me router, whatever it is. I've been watching too much American YouTube. Me router around, so it should work now. I think it's evened itself out a little bit. Let's see what other people are saying. Wormy Spoons thinks Koulibaly is too old, too much money for a position we don't really need. I was a bit surprised by that, because Carlo's saying that we need a world-class centre-back. And then to say that we're covered with Godfrey and Keane and Mina and Holgate and that. So I was a bit surprised with that. I don't know about you, James.
Yeah, I think we are. We've got some decent depth at centre-half, I think. So I'm not sure. I think we probably need to move someone on as well if we really wanted to sign someone. But yeah, I mean, if we did move a couple of players on, if maybe Branthwaite went on loan again, if we moved on maybe Holgate or Mina is probably most likely, potentially, then that's how you get room for another centre-half. But I think at the minute, to be honest, there's 3 or 4 fives I put out before centre-half myself. But yeah, I'll get behind whatever decision they make and wherever they want to strengthen.
Inky Squid is back in the chat. Hello, mate. Thank you for joining the stream again. He says, mentioned you in the description of my latest video today. Thanks for the permission. Glad to see that we've inspired you, mate, and good luck with your future videos. I'll have to check it out as well. I haven't had a look in a couple of days, so I'll check after the stream and take a look at some of your newer videos. Ian Clark says, I wonder how many can trace back through the ages to their great granddads who went to the match in their first Goodison season. I think maybe I did. I think my great granddad was an Evertonian. So maybe that could be an idea. James, I don't know. Do you come from an Everton family? Do you think that's possible for you? Do you think you had someone there, or?
Yeah, definitely. I think my dad's a Blue, and he was born in 63, I think, and then his dad was a Blue. I'm not sure when he was born. I think probably around 1900, 1905, something like that. So I think there's absolutely every chance his dad, or even like an older sibling or something, was probably there. But I don't really know where the family line goes beyond my dad's dad, because I never actually met my dad's dad. So. But I think it's definitely very, very possible. I would probably assume, I'd imagine one of them probably did go to one of the opening games, if not the first one. So I'd have to double check.
I've got a couple of people coming in with their Everton CVs. Yeah. Philip says, my first fame was 1969 at home to Leeds, proper blood and thunder. I was 9. Was that the game where there was all the fighting on the pitch, Philip? I think I can't remember. Like, it's known for being like a notorious for like a big fight or something. He also says Rotterdam is on his one. Let's see if we've got any more. A couple of people talking about guitars they've got, which is nice. And transfer news as well. Wormy Spoon says he'd have Rabiot and Dalot. Dalot's not bad, but Zeki Celik is better. I know you're like a big fan of Zeki Celik, aren't you, Wormy? And I don't know much about him. But what do you think, James? Because I know we spoke about Rabiot, I think, a couple of streams ago, and we spoke about like how sometimes if you've been linked with a player that much, it's not a good thing to go in for them on the 3rd or 4th time.
Yeah, I think it's strange on Rabiot because we've been linked to him pretty much since he rocked up at Juventus, and obviously I think he went there on the free, didn't he, from PSG? So I'd imagine he's on big wages. I think he had a bit of an attitude issue at PSG, where I think his mum was his agent. I don't know if she still is, but I'm sure his mum was his agent, and she caused a right ruckus, which wasn't pretty. I don't know. I can't see loads of truth in it. I don't think someone's going to go being a starter from Juventus to being a starter at Everton, but he'd certainly be a player I'd look into if they were looking to offload him. But I think in that case, to be fair, I'd imagine there'd be a few teams after him. So, I think he could be like the modern day Kevin Strootman, or going back further, Riquelme, who everyone talks about. Like we were linked to, we were linked to.
Still comes up, doesn't it, on Twitter when there's a compilation of Riquelme. Hopefully, we get him signed in the summer.
I mean, I think Kevin Strootman needs to be mentioned more, because he got linked to him every summer, and then once Koeman came, it was like it was like a wet dream for all the journalists who keep on linking him to us. So I don't know where he's still playing. I don't know if he's still at Marseille or what, but
I think he might be retired, mate. No.
It might, I'll have a little look now. I'm not 100% sure, but he was like the main one who I could remember. He's a Genoa in Italy, apparently.
Give us some more of those guys as well. Famous Everton signings that never happened. Leroy Fair was one for me. That never happened, and he ends up at Norwich. Any more?
That was in the banter era, Fred, that I think, Leroy Fair, because...
I think it was,
because he failed our medical, but then he signed for Palace, Norwich, and Swansea after. So it was like, what was the point? But I don't think he ever set the world alight, to be fair. So I don't think we missed out too badly on him.
Yeah. I've lost me space in the chat for where I was now. Inky Squid says, haha, I can beat those guitars with me Gear for Music acoustic guitar. Everyone starts somewhere, mate. They're actually really decent. So, yeah. Ian Clark says, I've got 8 guitars now. House sounds like an orchestra tuning up whenever I cough. It's a nightmare. I got my dad onto it, and I don't play too much in the house now. I go out to practice, so Don't play too much in the house. Wormy Spoon says, how devastating on Wamanja Tuka. I jinxed him. Can someone let me know what happened to him? Did he get injured or something?
He did his ACL, yeah. He did his ACL against Bayern, I think. Yeah. Awful. Because once, I think it was mentioned by, was it Inky Squid the other week? And I'd looked into him. He's had a really good season for Stuttgart.
Yeah,
and I think
14. I think he was on 14 goals or something like that.
Yeah, he's had a really good season. So yeah, I was at Wormy Spoon. Sorry, yeah, he did his ACL as he said against Bayern, I think.
I didn't know that, and that's funny. I probably jinxed him because I mentioned him in last week's stream where it was just me and you guys, and we talked about transfers and stuff like that. And yeah, that's sad because he's a young player as well, and he probably would have been looking at a move to the Premier League in the summer, so that's quite sad. Inky Squid says, have you seen that Man United CDM, Luke Garner, on loan at Notts Forest? With McTominay in the squad, he won't get in. In a few years, he'd be a great signing for us. Yeah, maybe it's worth taking a punt on a player like that now, because I was talking about in a few years when Bramley Moore eventually comes round and we've got a player who's still young. If we see something in a young youth player, I think we should probably try and fill our boots with with a few young players, because you sign them ideally on a free, low wages, try and develop them, and hopefully by the time that sort of thing comes around, they've been in the team for a year or two. So yeah, what you'd make of that, James? Because we get the odd youth player that comes through. There's like Davies come through and players like that, but majority of the time, Everton youth players, historically, apart from the likes of Colin Harvey, Wayne Rooney, there's probably a few more as well, but majority of them don't really set the world alight. They might stick around in the team for a season or two, but I don't know, for a club that I think as supporters we really enjoy, don't we, seeing the young Scouse lads coming in through, but I'd like to see a few more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and they're not all Scouse-like, but the likes of Tyler Onyongo, I think he's from Luton, maybe. Thierry Small, I think he's Midlands-based, I'm pretty sure. I think Lewis Dobbin, I think he's local. Tom Cannon's from Aintree, I think, and he was unbelievable in the cup. I think it was last week. He scored a double, I think, against Wigan, and they went through. So players like that, Kataya Kiyate, I'm not sure if he's local, but he's another really good young player coming through. It's something I absolutely love to see. And I think someone like James Garner, like we've mentioned there, he has looked really good for Forest these last few weeks. And I think the Championship in general, as we'll probably discuss with Max Aarons, is a great market to shop in for young players, and it's a really good level to play at. And if you're doing well in the Championship, for me, there's no doubt that you can do it in the Premier League, especially if you're a centre mid. Bit harder if you're someone like a striker, where obviously
because you're expected to score goals immediately, aren't you? Really,
yeah. Whereas I think it's probably easier for a central midfield player, someone like James Maddison. I think he probably plays slightly further forward than James Garner, for example. But I think that's a great market to shop in. So it just worries me slightly because I'm not 100% sure Koeman is Koeman. He's Koeman. We've got Koeman on the brain. Ancelotti is too. Is too keen to play all the young lads, but we'll have to see. I think next season we could see someone like Onyongo break through, which would be ideal.
Wormy says he has a freshman semi-acoustic, a Tokai Telly copy, and a Tokai Fender bass, and a Yamaha bass. Nice. Tokai are really good, apparently. There's been a couple of Tokai guitars that I've looked at. Philip Mason says the downside to moving is we have to change our nickname to the Apples. It sounds like something the Reds would probably throw around that, doesn't it? And he's also got a very nice set of bongos, Wormy. Cool. Bongo drums are cool. Philip Mason said Rotterdam, as I mentioned there on his Everton CV. Wormy Spoon says his last name is Bramley, so he's made up with the stadium. Inky Squid says, I'm technically not a fan. I've never been to Liverpool, let alone Goodison. Yeah, but you're still young, Inky, so you'll make it eventually. You'll be there at some point. Hopefully, Bramley Moore, you'll be at the first one there. You might be the last one at Goodison. Imagine your only experience of Goodison Park being the last ever game. That'd be mad. Yeah, insane. We could be the Spoons. Yeah, because Wormy's last name is Bramley. Dream guitar is a Gretchen Cadillac green. It makes James Hammers' hair look like mine. Super slick guitar. They're really nice, mate. Mine's like a sort of walnutty. People say it's red, but I don't like that. Sort of a walnutty, nice colour. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, Ian Clark's got a really big Everton CV. I'll put it on the screen now. His is Wolfsburg away. Watched the derby game in Venice. Seen Harvey, Kendall and Ball. Was at the Wimbledon game. Used to mind the cars when I was growing up by the ground in the late 60s, early 70s. Ian, that is fantastic, mate. That's brilliant. That's so far, I think he's got the best one, but I'm not at the end of the comments yet. Apologies if you've left a comment and I haven't answered it yet. I'm reading through. We're getting lots of interactions tonight. It was really good. As I said, leave your Everton CVs if you're new in the chat. Tell us your big Everton sort of, I hate to use the word, but like flexes pretty much. The biggest Everton things you've done. And I'll answer them. Give us your questions to me and James as well. Anything it can be about lockdown, it can be about football, it can be about anything. And we'll answer it. Inky Squid says he just uploaded a transfer video. So yeah, mate, I will have a look at that one. Philip Mason's answered me question about let me just find where I was. About the Leeds game. He said that Leeds game was mad. The big fighting game was very early 70s against Millwall. At the time, you could walk around the ground. It was famous for Millwall fans trying to invade the street end. I think I've heard about that one. Yeah, I think I have heard about that one. Like at some point because I remember I know you used to be able to walk around the ground back then. Erwin Koeman says Koulibaly, Mina, Godfrey, Holgate, and Keane is some centre back options. Definitely, mate. It's definitely is. Will be a good backline, that one. Lozano or Bailey. Now, Womanja Tuka is out. Both of them I definitely have. Irving Lozano and Leon Bailey. James, what you say?
Yeah, definitely. I think Lozano was someone we were tentatively linked with, I want to say, after the 2014 World Cup, maybe when he was at PSV. And obviously he's ended up at Napoli, where I don't think he set the world alight to begin with, but I feel like he's had a better season this year, maybe. And yeah, he looks like a good player. And then Leon Bailey, I think we've spoken about him as well a couple of times. Potentially the boat maybe sailed on him as well, just because he's had a good season under Peter Bosch at Leverkusen. He does look like a good player, but absolutely, I would take either of them. Yeah, I think they're the two really talented wingers and someone. And I imagine, to be fair, I think we probably will be looking at least Leon Bailey as well in the summer. So, yeah,
I would hope so anyway. Yeah, but those two for me are the ones I'd definitely like to see. Let me see what else people are saying. I think is it Zach? Oh, great! It's when you're looking at yourself, mate. You can't do it.
Yeah,
like I come on stream sometimes, and like it's mad because I come on stream to talk to you for an hour, all of you, and sometimes you can spend ages getting ready because you're going to be looking at yourself. One day I'll probably do a video if they want, where I could like show you how it all works. If any of you are interested in like what I see and what the guests see and all me setup and everything like that, they seem to do quite well on YouTube. So people are talking about Ronaldo in the chat. He's more plastic than his action figures. He should get a choking hazard tattoo in case any of his plastic falls off. Someone said he's made of bronze. Erling Haaland, yeah, he's meant to be a young player who's bouncing around some of the non-leagues there, who might be worth a punt, but he was meant to sign for us, apparently, wasn't he? Another one, Steve Walsh, is trying to come out. It's a bit like when Allardyce said that, what was it? It's a bit sort of...
Aubameyang, wasn't it?
Yeah, Aubameyang, that's it. And people coming out going that, I wanted Erling Haaland, but they wouldn't give me the money. Mate, there's no way you're looking at this lad and Everton wouldn't give you a bit of money for this young lad. There's no way that happened. Not in my life.
Erwin Koeman as well, wasn't it?
What was it?
He said the same. I think it was him and Harry Maguire. I think he said, and I'm just like saying, yeah. And I just remember saying at the time, like, there's no way we'd facilitate like 45 million for Gylfi Sigurdsson and not give you 8 million or 4 million, whatever it was for Erling Haaland. It wouldn't happen. Never.
When you look back at that period, we probably signed other players for that amount. So
yeah.
Ones that you never got in the first team. Don't know how much we paid for like Shani Tarashai and players like that, but yeah, it's mad. Erwin Koeman is talking about an Everton signing that never happened. Vadis Afoe, remember him?
Yeah.
I think he ended up as well.
Yeah, he did actually. I was about to say, yeah. I don't think he did anything at Norwich, did he? I think he was very much a like a Shani Tarashai kind of figure from what I remember. But yeah, that's a blast from the past. That class on FIFA though, and those sweaty silver teams. He was class back in the day.
Oh yeah, he was the silver teams, and it'd be like him. I think Josh Murphy used to get in my one. There was
all
the
the
American.
boys.
There was the lead. Oh mate, you just reminds me. There, a FIFA 14 silvers. Gabby Agbonlahor as well was about 30k, wasn't he?
They were the days.
Oh, mate. Unbelievable. Inky Squid says, "I kid you not, Garner will become the next Witzel or Jordan Henderson." Let's sign him then. That's what, if they're willing to let him go and they don't think he's going to be anything, he can come here and become the next Witzel or Jordan Henderson. That's fine by me. And then Wormy Spoons has put, who are you on about? Gabaman underneath his comment. We'll move on to Gabaman in a little bit, guys, once I've gotten through all the questions. Signings like Calvert-Lewin are becoming rarer in the Premier League. The Championship has unreal talent. It does. The Championship is an incredibly good league, and it's known for being the best second-tier league in the world. It's fantastic. It really is. There's some cracking little players in there. There's the likes of Bradley Dack at Blackburn, who I really like. There's a couple who've come through. There's like Calvert-Lewin mentioned there as well. I'm not sure if Dean Henderson was on loan at Sheffield United in the Championship. Can't remember if that was before or after that.
He was.
Yeah, but there's some real standout players, as James mentioned as well. James Maddison's another one.
Ollie Watkins at the minute.
Ollie Watkins, yeah, come from Brentford, and Ivan Toney as well, still there, who we've been linked with before as well. There's a lot of good signings in the Championship that can be made, James. And I like Championship football. Don't get me wrong, I don't ever want to be in it, but I like it. I like how it's sort of, it reminds me a little bit of a classic, like the classic old football. They've got the old trophy from before the Premier League, and the extra teams. And just the way how it's sort of a bit of anyone can beat anyone. There's a lot of competitiveness. All the players seem to be a bit fitted as well, in the way that you've got to play more games, you play them more often. And a lot of young players come through in the Championship. I really like it.
I think I've said for the last maybe 4 or 5 years, it's the best league in the world in terms of, maybe not in terms of quality, although I do think the quality these days, it's incredibly high.
Every year, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the competitiveness is just ridiculous. And the fact that obviously got the playoffs, which I'm a huge fan of. I love the fact that there's a playoffs, because then you end up with, you have the 2 teams that go up, and then you have maybe 7 or 8 teams in contention up until right at the end of the season. And you look at the players who are in there now, the likes of Ismail Assar and Emi Buendia and Arnand Danjuma at Bournemouth. There's some top players in the Championship at the minute, and there has been for the last, I think, best part of a decade. I think the likes of, there's always players like Robert Earnshaw and Billy Sharp, and I don't know what in my head then who's escaped me, but they've had players who you say, oh, they're great Championship players. I think now the Championship is becoming more of, these players should play in the Premier League, and I think Norwich at the minute have probably already got nearly half a dozen just like that, and Watford have got a handful too, for example. So Brentford, Josh De Silvas and Ivan Toney's and David Ryers, etc. So yeah, I think it's a terrific league, and as I say, if I was Everton, I'd be shopping in that 100% this summer.
Going to blast through some transfer rumours, guys, and you can let us know what you think in the chat. I'm going to read them out from today's Echo transfer thing that I use for the 24/7 news reports, which you will have been noticed as well. Recent one, a couple of hours ago, James, Tottenham joined Everton in the race for Aaron Ramsey. This one we got bandied about a bit in the January window. Tottenham have joined Everton in the race for Aaron Ramsey. Tuto Mercato, this one's from. They've made preparations for new midfield additions by checking on Ramsey. Apparently there's a battle between West Ham, Crystal Palace to sign the former Arsenal man. Now, he is a former Arsenal man, as they mentioned, so I don't know. That one sounds a bit more likely than him going to Tottenham, in my opinion. Yeah,
he wouldn't go Tottenham, I don't think. I think that'd be last chance saloon for him. I'd be shocked if he went to Spurs. I've always loved Aaron Ramsey, to be fair. I loved him when he was younger at Arsenal. Maybe it wasn't quite working for him. And then that 13-14 season, he was a joke. He scored at least a dozen goals in the league. Remember the goal he scored against Norwich last game of the season, sort of from the angle of the box into the top corner. I think he scored 2 winners in FA Cup finals. I think he's been a really underrated footballer, to be honest. Again, a little bit old now. I think I saw him linked to Liverpool actually on BBC Sports about 3-4 days ago. So yeah, I think he probably will move on from the Juventus, to be fair, at some point.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have him. As we mentioned before, Carlo likes ready-made players, doesn't he? So this could be one that we might persist with in the summer. We'll have to see. Next rumour, Robin Olsen reportedly wants to move away from Goodison Park. Calcio Mercato said he would like to leave because of the armed robbery that took place at his home. They believe he could head back to AS Roma and stay there instead. The Echo understands this is not the case. Both the club and player are happy for Olsen to remain on Merseyside. So what do you think of that one, James? Would you like us to try and get him permanent, or do you think he'll leave?
I don't mind, to be honest. Honestly, I don't have any.
It's sitting on the fence one. Like either way, whatever happens, will happen. Really.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not too fussed. Obviously, I mean, if the news is true that he doesn't feel safe being in this country after what happened, then that's obviously really sad. I know he doesn't live in Liverpool. I think he lives in Old Edge or somewhere in Manchester anyway. But yeah, I hope that's not the case. But I don't really mind if he stays or if he goes. We get him for a couple of million, but that's fine by me. If there'll be no tears shed if we don't get him. He's been okay. So I don't have too many strong opinions on Robin Olsen, to be honest.
Philip Mason says you can't blame Olsen if he leaves after that ordeal. You can't. It's understandable. Moving on to, we were talking about the Championship before, James, and probably the standout player in the Championship full stop is Max Aarons. And we spoke about it a bit earlier on in the stream, but that's going to be, if Everton have written Christmas lists, and Max Aarons is their big present, I think, isn't it? It's like he's going to be the one that we're going to want most out of anyone. Coming on the Echo here, I read it in the 24/7 news report, what you might have seen the other day. Norwich did reject a £20 million bid for Aarons in the winter transfer window from Roma, and they're likely to want much more than that for him. Barca and Bayern Munich are also said to be circling, so going to be a hard one to get, but I think it's more likely than like the Aaron Ramseys and Tariq Lampteys of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Tariq Lamptey, we're looking at least 40 million for him, and otherwise I think Aaron's is probably closer to 25 million. I think Lamptey's probably a better player, but the money involved in any deal for him, I think, would be astronomical for a right back. So I think that the big thing with Aarons is when you start hearing rumours this early before the window opens, I think that's always a good sign. And then when you've got Fabrizio Romano, I think he tweeted about how there's concrete interest from Everton. So it's going to be interesting because obviously they priced Jamal Lewis out of a move to Liverpool, but they sold him to Newcastle for 10 million less than what it taken from Liverpool. I think it was 12 million in the end. So be interesting to see whether they consider us in the bracket of Everton can spend more money, whereas they may sell them to someone further down the league and for less money, but because there's interest there. So it's going to be interesting. I'd be very surprised if he's still at Norwich come the start of next season. I think he will definitely move on at this point because I was surprised he stayed for another season in the Championship, to be honest, and I was surprised it was Jamal Lewis who moved on. But yeah, I think that's going to be the one deal that I wanted to get just done early doors, the right back slot, because that's the biggest hole in this current team for me. Yeah.
And then obviously the other guy that I mentioned there was Tariq Lamptey. According to the Echo, Brighton's Tariq Lamptey is also on Everton's radar and does have admirers at Goodison. Signed from Chelsea in January 2020 for just 3 million. He's been one of the informed right backs. We all know that. The stumbling block with him is he's 5'5" and they want a tall right back. They don't want a small one, which is quite a specific thing, but you can understand it because they mentioned there about Luca Dean's 5'10" and so Seamus Coleman. And they want someone that height because they want someone who's a presence in both boxes.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea. I think an athletic right back's a good call. That has always been the worry with Lamptey when I've seen him for the past year, that he is absolutely tiny, which definitely helps in terms of his agility and his speed, for example. But yeah, again, it's someone I would like, but I think I'd probably prefer Aarons for the price that I think we could get him for. Whereas I think Lamptey, as you say, they're going to want to flip a huge profit on him, aren't they, after signing him for practically nothing in today's market. So yeah, and obviously if that is true, then it's just a non-starter, isn't it, in regards to his height? So.
Yeah, Semi-Charm Life says, look like we might be getting 50 million for Moise Keane as well. That's one that has obviously been floating around. Another transfer rumour. What do you think of that, James? You know, that sort of price is I think the sort of one that we're going to be looking for. I think we paid 25-ish for him a couple of summers back. So, yeah, what do you think of that? How much? Because it looks like we are going to sell him. How much would you be looking for?
I'd take 50 million, absolutely. I think that'd be a really good bit of business from us in the end. Pretty much double your money, 50 to 55 million, I think. You have to look at that and say, that's been a good deal for Everton. We brought a young player in and we flipped it for big money, and it just makes you think that if we sign someone who comes in and is more successful quicker than Moise Keane, because I think no matter what, I think Moise Keane's going to be a good professional footballer somewhere in the top level. I think if we can sign a player, he comes in and he performs well for Everton and then moves on for a huge profit, then that'll be really good for us. So I think that would give the system and give the idea of signing younger players a sort of really good foundation to work from, because I'm not against selling players if we get really good money for them. And I think if we can sign someone this summer who's 18, 19, 20, yes, a good year, 18 months, 2 years at Everton, then just try and flip him for double, triple, quadruple the money we spent. That's got to be the aim for Everton, I think, at the moment, especially with all the FFP stuff. So that would be absolutely fine by me if we got 50 million for Moise Keane.
Yeah, same with me. Same, another one that has been sort of bands about in that price zone. We spoke about already. I think a couple of people wanted to talk about it a bit more. Is Koulibaly. On the Echo, it says his price has dropped to 43 million. We were talking before about how maybe the price and his age are the two things with him that you wouldn't like. But for 43 million, what would you be willing for that?
It's a difficult one. I think that probably is a little bit too high, even still. I think he'd come in and have a big impact. Absolutely, I don't deny that. But he, to me, at the age and with the price, he screams final piece of the jigsaw, the man to make it go from here to here, as I said earlier. Whereas now I think we're in a position where we've got to build from not the bottom up, because we have made some progress, but it's not ridiculously far off the bottom. I think we've got to build for a bit, and then if there's a centre half, throw a name out like Christopher Ayer or someone at Celtic. I think he's 22, 23 in say 4 or 5 years, and he's getting to that age that Koulibaly's at. Go get someone like him then to be the final piece as an example. That's what I think we need to do. So I just think we're a little bit, but I think in terms of our timeline, I just don't see us crossing with someone who's that age, and for that money to make the impact that we need. I think he wouldn't be worth it at the moment for my money.
Yeah, you can understand why people would be like, he's sort of it might be the right player at the wrong time, if that makes sense. Because to me it would be a bit like, when Liverpool signed Van Dijk and he was very much the last piece of the jigsaw, and then they obviously went on and won the title. So for us, maybe I agree with you, maybe younger players that are going to fit out the entire squad, and then when we've got 10 good players that you can rely on every game, then it's someone who you'd be going at like, yeah, let's sign a ready-made player for 50 odd million who's going to be the last piece of the jigsaw and is going to push us on even further and make this team push up to be in the fighting for Champions League titles and fighting for the league and stuff like that. Because you can have a very good team and one player just makes it sometimes. Don't be like, there's certain players in a team that just really stand out. Like there's mentioning there's like the Van Dijks of the world and players like that, and then you got like reminds me of 2008 Man United, still really good before that, but bringing in like a player like Ronaldo to finish it off, or something like that.
Ruben Diaz at City this summer, I think he's had a Van Dijk-esque sort of impact. I think someone like him is a good example of that as well. And I think quite often when you look at teams who can look quite good, you just need to add one or two players. And I think that's where, again, I'm sick of talking about them. That's where Liverpool did really well. They knew they couldn't carry on with that fella Karius in goal, and they knew they couldn't carry on with some of the centre halves. They had the Clavins of this world. They just couldn't do it anymore. Whereas you go in straight away, add two players, and they went from just about scraping top 4 to should have won the league to winning it by a landslide. So that's a sort of trajectory Everton need to get on, but I think we just need to build up to that first for me.
Yeah, and I spoke there before about a right back that's going to be a presence in both boxes. Diogo Dalot was one of them. He's popped up a little bit on the transfer front, and I didn't know he's only 22, James, but I thought he was a lot older than that. I thought he was a bit more of a Matteo Darmian sort of signing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought United signed him as like he's a ready-made article, and he never made it, and now he's on loan. But he is just out on loan at AC Milan, and I know he's been playing left back a little bit as well. So yeah, it might be an interesting one to look at in the summer, that one.
I like Diogo Dalot. I think, as you say, you sort of think straight away, this lad's 26, 27. He's Matteo Darmian. He's, do you remember Davide Zappacosta? Chelsea signed for absolutely no reason. Emerson, Chelsea signed again for just pointless. But no, I think he was cast to the wayside way too early, and I think that's why someone like Milan were after him. We were linked to him in the summer as well, and I think it is that idea that he can play right back and left back, but do it quite well. I think on the right he's attacking, and I think he's quite intelligent. On the left, I think he does more than a good job. So I think someone like him would be absolutely perfect for Everton, to be honest with you. And I watched him the other week. I can't remember who Milan were playing, but again, he looked decent there from what I could see. And I just think someone like him, who's versatile, is what I'd like to see, because you got to remember we had Cuca Martina playing left back, as we discussed the other week, and he was like someone who couldn't even play right back. So when he's playing left back, it was just an absolute war crime. So we do need someone, I think, not saying need, but I think if you have a fullback who can play on both sides, that is just invaluable for me.
Mm-hmm. Sammy Charm Life says he wasn't sure about Dalot, but he didn't realise he was still so young. I did not realise, and obviously he's on loan, and I think he wants more game time. And as a right back, we can definitely offer him some game time. Obviously not as much as a left back.
Some game time at right back.
Yeah, anyone can get some space at Everton at right back at the moment. Last one I want to touch on, I think, unless anyone in the chat's got a transfer room and you want to throw up that we'll talk about, is Adrian Rabiot. We spoke about him a bit before, and I think is he back at? And I know we spoke about him in the stream a bit already, but he's at Juve now, isn't he?
Yeah, he went on a free from PSG. Didn't he? Went AWOL, didn't he, at PSG, and didn't play for ages, and then I think he's been at Juve for 2 seasons, maybe. So yeah, that's where he is at the minute.
And maybe it is a sign we like, but you don't know. If we've been after him for this long, we obviously are interested in him, because a transfer rumour that with no weight doesn't pop up every year for a few years by coincidence. It's the same with Dalot. We've been after Dalot for the last 2 summers as well. So someone we're after, didn't know if we were gonna be, if maybe we were after Dalot before he went to United. I'm really not too sure. Inky Squid says, I've heard that Shakhtar, Roma and Napoli are after Bernard. He's one I think we're going to try and shift in the summer, James Bernard, if we're going to talk about outgoings, because he's been a decent servant for us, but I think he's sort of run his course in Ancelotti's team. I think he was good under Silva. He's had the odd really good moments under Ancelotti, like the winner against Tottenham, but I don't know, it's not really worked out for him under Ancelotti. I don't think he likes going a bit more narrow, doesn't he, and have the strikers sort of chasing out for the wings. So maybe not his system to play under.
I mean, with Bernard, it's a bit of a silly one, but he was someone I loved for years on FIFA, and he was someone I always sort of held like a bit of an interest in. Yeah, he was great because
yellow, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and he was an attacking midfielder, I remember as well. So when he signed for us and he was popping up on the left, it was almost like a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, because he wasn't really. I don't think he's ever really been a number 10, to be honest. I think he'd only played a dozen games there or something before we signed him. So he's always been more of a wide man. But yeah, I could put one footballer who just screams one football team. Bernard just screams Roma. Like, I don't know if it's because Fonseca's there, who I think was at Shakhtar as well, I believe, when Bernard was there previously before he came to us, but he just screams Roma on a free. I don't know what it is, but I'm the same as you. I think he's been a decent servant and some good moments. Again, we make 5-6 million on Bernard, then that's progress. So yeah, I think we'll shift him in the summer.
Like when you talk there about players who scream football teams, everyone's been talking recently about Alex Iwobi and how he's perfectly suited to Crystal Palace. And how it's just a signing you can see happening. So he's one of those, isn't he, really? And you can see Bernard going to Shakhtar or Roma or someone like that. You can see him working really good in the Serie A, to be fair. A couple of people there asking a couple of questions about transfers. Wormy Spoon says Ramsdale off Sheffield, they're going down. I wouldn't. I don't like him. I think he's probably been one of the main reasons that Sheffield United are rubbish this season. Is Ramsdale. I know he's had the odd good game, but not for me at all. Mere at Napoli. I know the name. I think he's French, but do you know him, James? Mere, Meret.
He's the goalie, is he?
I think he is. I think so. Another one that pops up on FIFA every now and then.
Yeah.
Name, don't you?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I've seen anything of him, to be honest with you. Very, very minimal. It hasn't stuck out to me. So, whereas with like Alan, because obviously football stopped, and then when it came back, me and my dad would watch Napoli every week, scouting him, and he'd barely play under Gattuso. But yeah, I can't say someone like Mere, someone I've watched too much of.
Sammy Charm Life says chased Decore for years and finally landed them. Yeah, so that just proves that maybe if you are linked with a player for enough, it's not always a bad sign that it can work out. Wormy Spoon says, I like Rabiot, good defensively, a ball carrier would help the quality drop off when Decore or Allen can't play. I agree with that. We definitely need someone in there when Decore and Allen can't play because, it seems like it's rare that we ever get a full strength midfield nowadays. But after this little break, and obviously Decore is not going to be back yet, but hopefully Hammers be back after the international break, and Alan's been in the team as well last few games. So we'll see what happens with that one. But I do think it's one that we should be looking to get a couple more players in. As you said there, for the quality drop off, it's tough. Mere is a young Italian keeper, 24 at Napoli, big potential. Maybe it is one then. Maybe it is one that we could be looking at. I know a couple of people do think we need a goalkeeper. I'm one of those people. So yeah, maybe a young goalkeeper, similar to like Meslier at Leeds, really. And we spoke about with the new ground, the crop of players that are going to be coming in there. But might be a good idea.
Yeah, but the thing with a keeper is that obviously because they do peak quite late. Someone who's, I think Toffee Blues John's put in there, he's 24 now. That's still young because that is like the sort of 19-year-old equivalent, 20-year-old equivalent for an outfield player. So I feel like finding goalkeepers is probably fairly easy, but I've heard a lot of people say that recruiting them can be quite difficult, and it's hard to find the style of keeper that you want and stuff like that. But I'm in the same boat as you. I'd be more than happy to look at a new goalie in the summer, and I think these end the days of having some jarg fella on the bench. I think obviously we brought Robin Olsen in, but I can't remember the name of the lad who's on the bench. Yeah, Levan, that was it. Yeah, we just need to just the Jan Muckers, the Ian Turners, the Stefan Vessels, I was going to say Joel Roberts, that would have been Barash actually, but we need to end those days. And if we can have two decent goalies, and I think that would actually, it'd only help Everton, because I think most of the top teams have got two decent keepers. So as we saw with City, obviously got, I think both their goalies are the number one for the country, for example. So I think that would be something we should look at in the summer. And I said there's some fires I put out before a centre half, and I think goalie's definitely up there as one of them.
Yeah, and of course they mentioned as well, a bit of news that broke today is that Alex Iwobi's got COVID. So talked about him before there, but hoping that he's he recovers from it. There's a couple of people who get it and they have it for a long time, isn't it? So it's tough. I don't know if we've had too many players who've had it this season, but yeah, it's a sad one, and hopefully he's all right. But guys, just to finish off the stream, actually, I'll read a couple of your comments before we move on. People talking about João Virginia versus Mere. It's a good little conversation to have. Obviously, as me and James said, we don't really know too much about him, so it's going to be it's a tough one really to gauge on whether you'd prefer to over another player when the other player isn't really that well known. See what if we've got any more people. Philip says, I feel like I'm the only person who likes Iwobi. Oh, and of course, guys, go and check out the video we did talking about Alex Iwobi. It was a good one. It was me, Tom, and James, I think, and we just spoke a bit about Iwobi and his future lives. So yeah, I don't know. What's your opinions on Iwobi? I think actually, James, sorry, it was us three, wasn't it? It was us three. Me, you, and Tom talking about Iwobi.
Yeah, I think me and Tom were in quite a similar boat. To be fair, that I think he brings a lot to the game that isn't seen to the naked eye, and he's always going to be a bit of a scapegoat. And he was fighting an uphill battle the second he arrived, and all this. So, I don't know. It's hard to say because the whole social media thing really wound me up with Iwobi, to be honest. And I think because you haven't had a game for a week, it's just sort of festered a little bit. I know he obviously came on late against City, but yeah, I think he definitely brings a lot more to Everton than some people maybe see. And I wanted to give him a fair crack of the whip, but I think the cold, hard stats show that he needs to do more. I think that's the kind of consensus me and me and Tom sort of agreed on. So I think if someone came in for him, Crystal Palace, for example, if someone wants to come in, try and get a hold of him, then I'd be happy enough to see him move on and we can get most of our money back for him. But I think he definitely can be a success at Everton. It's just whether he's going to show it and whether he gets the chance to.
And yeah, I think we've obviously spoke a lot about the transfers. Toffee Blues John there says Mere Virginia is nowhere near ready, and I completely agree with that. Did a decent job against City, but it's obviously not not one that I wouldn't say he's ready yet to be a first choice goalkeeper for us or a second choice even. So would be nice to see him come through, as we were talking about youth a little bit earlier in the stream, but it's going to be an interesting one to see where he, what happens with him. Inky Squid wants to know, do F1?
Do I like F1? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I was talking to someone about F1 just today for some bizarre reason, but no, I can't say I'm into F1. About a handful of my mates are quite into it, to be fair, but yeah, I used to watch the start of race because that's when it's like the most exciting, and when, as bad as it sounds, when you're most likely to get like a crash or something exciting happening. Obviously, hopefully no one's hurt, obviously, but I can't. Yeah, I remember watching it, and you see someone overtake someone, and the commentators are going wild, and I'm like, is that not the whole aspect of it? Is that not the whole point? Then to overtake each other, and I can't say I totally understand it, but it does look like a decent sport, to be fair.
Yeah, and of course, before we end, guys, I've been promising it all stream. We're going to be doing a little quiz, me and James. I'll be quizzing James, and you guys in the chat, you can play along. You can get your pens and papers out, get your answers down. Obviously, don't put any answers in the chat because that's just an obvious one. But listen out for the questions. I'll read them. There's 15 of them. You guys can just keep your answers down, and at the end, after all 15, I'll go through and I'll let you know what the right answers are. You can mark them up and you can tell me what you got in the chat. But James, do you want multiple choice or do you want just no multiple choice?
Multiple choice sounds easier.
Yeah, I warn you, it's a little bit of a hard one, this one. I wasn't expecting John to make it this hard, but yeah, get your pens and papers ready, guys. We're going to be doing the stream. On the stream, we're going to be doing the quiz. So yeah, make sure you're listening out for them all, and I'll read them out. You guys keep your answers down, and we'll see at the end who is the ultimate Evertonian, really. So we don't have the intense quiz music, which we usually do on the podcast. So I have to get that sorted. But first question, James, is and don't worry, mate. I'll make sure I'll make sure I jot down your answers. What year did Everton sign Aruna Kone? If your multiple choice answers are 2011, 2014, 2013, or 2012.
Definitely 2013, because when Marnes came. I was in PE when that happened, and I was really happy.
Yeah, I remember that one myself. I remember he retweeted one of my tweets on his debut as well. I wished him good luck, and I got a thing for it. Don't put any of the answers in, the guys. Don't put your answers to the questions in the chat. Just jot them down or put them on your phone or keep them in your head. And at the end, I'll read out all of the answers, and you guys can just jot how many you got. Let me know how many you got at the very end. Question number 2 is, how many goals did Louis Saha score for Everton? Now, this is why you need the multiple choice, because when it comes to goal scorers, you sort of need a bit of, you need to know a sort of ballpark, don't you? So, how many goals did Louis Saha score for Everton? Is it 25, 28, 30, or 34?
Well, when you said that, I instantly thought it was in the 30s. So, I'll say 34.
He's going for 34. Yeah, guys, make sure you got your answer there. How many goals did Louis Saha score for Everton? 25, 28, 30, or 34? And get your answers down. And as I said, I'll read them out at the end, all the right answers, and you can tell me how many you got. Question number 3, a player who's been lingering around the club for a while, and we were talking about outgoings. What is Mo Besic's squad number this season? Is it? Does he wear number 30, number 28, number 31, or number 33?
Yeah, I was hoping 33 was going to come up. I think it's 33. I was on the website. Only him and Gabamin aren't in kits. They're in little pink quarter neck zips for some reason, but yeah. I think it's 33. That was 33 or 31, but I think it's 33.
So you're going for 33. Okay. Question number 4, guys. I've just realised I'm putting on my Weatherman Terry voice for the quiz. Terry often uses, but yeah. Hope you guys got that. What is Mo Besic's squad number this season? Get your answer down, and at the end of the stream, I'll tell you if you're right. Next one's another squad number 1. A player who's been on the bench a little bit for Everton in recent weeks. Nathan Broadhead. What's Nathan Broadhead's squad number this season? Is it 28, 35, 37, or 34?
34 sounds right. So I'll say 34, but
yeah,
I'm not sure. I'll say 34.
James goes for 34, guys, but as I said, keep jotting down your answers to all the questions I'm reading out, and at the end of the stream, you'll get a shout out if you win. If you get a good number, if you get a full house, but don't cheat. Don't be Googling them as well. Just because I'm not there to watch you doesn't mean you're not allowed to Google. It just means you're allowed to Google it. Question number 5. This one gets lost in translation a little bit. A couple of people don't really know this. I'm one of them. What is Goodison Park's full capacity? And there's a couple of numbers. So if you need me to repeat the numbers, James, is it 39,414? That's answer A. Is it 39,572? That's B. 39,846 is C, and 40,082 is D. So yeah, answer for that one.
I was pretty certain it was just over 40,000.
It often gets mixed up, doesn't it? Some people go 30,
it does. Yeah,
40. Yeah,
it does get a bit 30. I mean, no.
I'll read them out to you again, mate. So 414, 572, 846, or 40,082.
I'll say 40,082.
You're going for 40,082. Yeah. we'll move on, guys. And don't put your answers in the chat. Keep them to yourself, and at the end, I'll tell you if you're right or not. Next question number 6 of 15. What was Jack Rodwell's last squad number for Everton? Obviously moved off to Manchester City, didn't he? But what was his last squad number? Was he number 8, number 4, number 26, or number 22?
Good luck Googling that one anyway. I think it was 26. That sounds right. Yeah, I'll go 26.
So number 26 is James's answer, guys. Obviously, get your questions in the chat. You want me to repeat it? What was Jack Rodwell's last? Another player who came through Everton Academy, I think. Last squad number for Everton. What was Jack Rodwell's last squad number for Everton? Was he number 8, number 4, number 26, or number 22? Jack Rodwell. Tough one.
Went to my high school, Jack Rodwell. Bit of trivia. He did, yeah, I believe, yeah, and I've seen him a few times. Not recently, about 10 years ago when he was still at Everton, but yeah, you see him around and about.
Inky, let me know that you heard that question. If you get to the end and then you want me to repeat any of the questions, just let me know. Question number 7, one that broke my heart. I was talking to I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was you, James. Actually, we were talking about transfers that broke our heart, and we sort of try not to expect anything anymore. But yeah. How much did Everton sell John Stones to Manchester City for? What was the fee? Was it £40 million, £45 million, £50 million, or £55 million?
Well, we did over on Babbling Blues this week. We did the era review. We did the triple bill Koeman, Unsworth, Allardyce. So obviously that started with Stones leaving. So I believe it was £50 million.
50 million is your answer. Yeah, it's a nice round number. Nice one to go for. Next question is number 8. This one took me by surprise a little bit. How many goals did Oumar Niasse score for Everton? Obviously, he moved to Huddersfield yesterday. So that's the next question. Don't worry, James. This is why I asked you for multiple choice, because it's a tough one. Did he score 10 goals, 12 goals, 9 goals, or 8 goals?
I wasn't in despair at the question, because I think, well, I don't know. I think it's 8. Just in despair at hearing the ass's name.
Philip Mason says 100. Where 3? 10, 12, 9, or 8.
Yeah, I think it's 8 because he scored in the. I think it's 8.
Them 2 against Bournemouth. When I was doing the quiz earlier for myself, the one against Bournemouth stood out, and I thought he scored 2 in one game. So
his goal record wasn't awful, just his playing ability was awful. But he didn't score a goal for Everton in any other season other than 17-18. So I don't believe. I did not know that.
I really did not know that. Erwin Koeman just puts the goat emoji when I said that. Imagine Oumar Niasse with a gun, then war would be hopeless. So what was your final answer there, James? Sorry, was it 8?
I said 8, yeah.
Yeah. Next question is, what was Cuco Martina's first squad number when he signed for Everton? Was it 15, 25, 30, or 18?
I think it's 15. I was always 15 in Sunday League, and I remember I used to say I was still Van Distan. And I feel like I remember mentioning it when Martina got it, so I'll say 15.
You've gone for 15, guys. Make sure you're getting your answers down at the end of the chat, and you can see if you beat James. You can see if you're any better at James at this. Next one's a really good one, and the multiple choice ones let me down a little bit, if I'm going to be honest, because Toffee Blues John made this quiz, and the multiple choice ones stumped me a bit because there was a golden opportunity here. basically, the question is, what is Carlo Ancelotti's middle name? Is it Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, or David? Now, I was thinking to myself, surely you're going to put Donatello there and make the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But is it Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, or David? Same name as his son, who's obviously Everton assistant manager.
It has to be David, surely. I've got no idea, but it can't be Michelangelo. I mean, I've seen. I watched an interview with him. I watched the Sky Sports did an interview with him the other week, and they did another one, like a question answer thing, and it would have come up then, I'm sure, but I can't remember if it did or not. So I'll say.
You're going David.
David, yeah, David. It makes sense.
So the next one is who was the first club Yannick Bolasie was loaned out to? Was it Middlesbrough, Aston Villa, Anderlecht, or Sporting Lisbon?
It was. I believe. I think it went. It was Villa. It's got to be Villa because he was crap and he came back after about 15 minutes. Yeah, Villa. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one. He's been out on loan to all 4 clubs, I think, but his first one, you're going for Villa.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say when he went on loan because he played for loads of teams in the Football League when he was younger. I'm not sure he was on loan from maybe Palace, but I was worried.
You couldn't ask me what club he was on loan at when he was 16.
Yeah, he was at like Barnet. I'm sure he was in Bristol City.
I think he was. Yeah. Next question is number 12. We're on now, guys. Of 15. We're getting towards the end. Who did Everton actually? You'll probably know this one, James. Who did Everton sign Andy Johnson from? Was it Fulham, QPR, Crystal Palace, or Birmingham City?
Yeah, Crystal Palace. Yeah, my first goal scoring hero at Everton.
So your final answer, Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace. Yeah. Absolute pen merchant he was for them.
Yeah, he was a good player though, mate. Number 13, who was Everton captain before Phil Neville? Was it?
No, yeah.
By the way, we've got a really good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles debate going on in the chat over who's the best turtle. So the number 13, the obviously who was Everton captain before Phil Neville? Was it Alan Stubbs, David Weir, Kevin Campbell, or Duncan Ferguson?
I thought it was Davy Weir. That's what I was going to say, Davy Weir, before you read them out. Yeah, it wasn't Dunk because Dunk was there when we signed Phil Neville, I'm sure. I remember he scored that own goal against Portsmouth in one of his last games.
I think he signed in 05, didn't he?
Yeah, 05, 06, yeah. Because I remember then I think he played when Rooney came back and kissed the badge. I'll say Davy Weir, I'm pretty sure.
Going to go for Davy Weir. Getting towards the end now. Make sure you got all your answers out. And if you've got any more that you didn't catch or something like that, I know where Inky had one a bit earlier on. I'll read them out at the end, no problem. Now, for this one, the last bit of the question is blanked out because it's a long one. So hopefully I'm getting it right. But Landon Donovan played for what other team? And I'm guessing it's in Europe, maybe. I can't read the end of the question, but the options are Sunderland, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, or Valencia.
I was going to say he played for one of Bayern Munich or Bayer Leverkusen, but I thought he played for both.
Hopefully John will put that in the chat. What's the end of the question? Because on loan, sorry, that's it. Landon Donovan played for what other team on loan? That's the question there, number 14. Sunderland, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, and Valencia. Obviously, he did spend his time at Everton on loan, 2 loan spells for Landon, but which other team did he spend time on loan at?
I'm sure he played for Bayern Munich, so I'd guess he'd go on loan to Bayer Leverkusen.
That your last one? Your final answer, Leverkusen?
I'll say, I wrote something. Leverkusen, yeah.
Yeah. And the last question, guys, number 15 in the quiz, and the last question. Another one who I've really, really forgotten Everton player. And I remember he made one appearance, I think. Leandro Rodriguez. What was his squad number? Was it 28, 29, 35 or 37?
28, 100% 28. And I was at that. There's my Everton CV. I was at the one game he played, Dagenham Redbridge. Yeah. I remember I was begging for him to come on and he was pants. But 28, I'm sure it was.
28. Yeah. And that's the end of the quiz, guys. I'll give it a couple of minutes before I read the answers in case any of you guys missed out on any. Hopefully you got to hear all 15 questions. You jotted down your answers in your little notepads or on your phone, or even kept them in your head if you've got a fantastic memory. What's with all the squad numbers, says Wormy Spoon? They're just good questions, mate. But yeah, that was pretty fun. Did you enjoy that, James?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, there's some difficult ones in there. I thought I was going to piss it when you said that Kone one, because that was like straight away.
I told you it was hard. I told you it was hard, and then we give you a really easy one to begin with. But do you know what? I'll start doing this more with some more. We'll just start messing around with more guests and more quizzes. I just want to read out before I answer after the Andy Johnson question you wanted. So the next question was, who was Everton captain before Phil Neville? Was it Davy Weir, Duncan Ferguson, Kevin Campbell, or Alan Stubbs? That was it. So who was Everton captain before Phil Neville? I just want to read out a couple of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ones that are going around. Someone said, how did this end up as a turtle discussion? There's no debate. Raphael is the best. Toffee Blues John got involved. All about opinion, but Raphael is the best turtle. What was the other one as well? And then someone put, it was Wormy Spoons talking to Semi Charm Life. He just put, just messing charms. You can like an inferior turtle if you want. I didn't realise people were so. I didn't realise people were so passionate about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I never actually watched it. I might get shot down in the chat for that one, but I think, Inky, did you get the one and after the Andy Johnson one? It was who was Everton captain after Phil Neville? Duncan Ferguson, David Weir, Alan Stubbs, or Kevin Campbell? That was question number 13, and so hopefully you've all got your answers there, guys, and obviously go round, give yourselves a tick if you got it wrong, give yourselves a cross if you didn't, and then tell me at the end what you got. The first question was, what year did Everton sign? Semi Charm Life says I went for Donatello myself. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. But back to the chat. Back to the quiz. Sorry. What year did Everton sign Aruna Kone? And you got it right, that one, James. 2013, first season under Roberto Martinez, when we raided Wigan of all of their players. It was him, James McCarthy, and Joel Robles all came in the same summer.
And Alcaraz, don't forget Alcaraz.
And Alcaraz as well. Sorry, who could forget Antolin Alcaraz? But yeah, 2013 was the correct answer. And he made his debut away at Ewood Park against Blackburn. And young little Stephen, who just got tweeted him, good luck, Aruna. Hope you bag a goal, mate, or something like that. And he did retweet it, and I felt great for weeks. And I wanted them to succeed, and then he never did. Question number 2, how many goals did Louis Saha score for Everton? You got that one right as well, James. 34. He bagged 34 goals in, I think it was 4 seasons. He left in 2012, I think, and signed in 08. So, yeah, a good one there. 34 goals, decent return. And, of course, one of them came after 25 seconds in a cup final. The last Everton player to score in an FA Cup final. So, there's another one for you. Number 3. What is Mo Besic's squad number this season? You said 33, and you were quite adamant on this one, weren't you, James? 33.
Yeah, because as I say, I was looking on the website. I can't remember why I was on the website, but I was just looking, and I could have sworn that's what I seen. But I'm sure you'll tell me rightly or wrongly in a minute.
Unfortunately, you got it wrong, mate. That one. He's squad number 30 this season. So there goes your your boss tally.
Just one more final kick from Bezic before he leaves. Nice one, Mel.
The next question is, what is Nathan Broadhead's squad number this season? Toffee Blues John's just given us a bit of trivia there. Robin Olsen is 33. So Robin Olsen he is number 33, isn't he? I forgot about that one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Robin Olsen. Philip Mason also says Louis Saha still has the fastest ever FA Cup final goal. That's an interesting one as well. Question number 5. What is Goodison Park's full capacity? There was a couple ones, and this is a tough one. Unfortunately, you got that one wrong as well, mate. It's you put 40,082. The actual total is 39,572. So, I'll forgive you for that one because that is a tough question. And it seems to, on different websites, all say different things, don't they?
Yeah, we could get 40,000 in there. We could squeeze them in, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Someone, I think it was Michael earlier on, said he was in the ground when there was 70,000. So that can go on your Everton TV, Michael. So that's a good one. Hopefully you're still watching, mate, and hopefully you got that one right. Next question, number 6. This one caught me off guard because I was absolutely adamant on the answer. What was Jack Rodwell's last squad number for Everton? You said 26. He was actually number 8.
Yeah, I just realised then as you were saying it, yeah.
Yeah, he must have changed to number 8 right before leaving. We obviously had big plans, and then City came in with an offer for him. But yeah, he was number 8, guys. If any of you's got that one right, I'd be very surprised, and you can have that on your Everton CV because he was number 8, unfortunately. Question number 7 is how much did Everton sell John Stones to Man City for? You got that one spot on, mate. £50 million. Question number 8, how many goals did Oumar Niasse score for Everton? I didn't know that he scored only scored in one season. You said
so, yeah.
He actually scored 9 in his.
You know what that is? That's 8 league goals, and then it's because he scored in the League Cup. That's what it must be, because I must have seen it on his Wikipedia, because it's like 8 in 51 or something. So, Rodwell changed to number 8 and was sold to City a week later. Sorry, mate, were you going to say something there? Oh no, I was just making an excuse why I got that last one wrong.
Philip Mason says 52,800 sounds a lot better. Come on, you apples. Question number 9. Let me just check how many you've got right so far.
8, I think.
Yeah, we're on question number 9 because you said 8 for Niasse and it was number 9, wasn't it? Yeah, I completely got lost there. He did score number 9, which when you think about it, 9 in one season isn't a bad return. For a second striker, he was not a bad return for 9 goals, but that was when you think his whole Everton career. Yeah, not very good. Yeah. Question number 9 is what squad number did Cuco Martina have first when he played for Everton? You said 15. It was your Sunday League number, and it was right. He was question number. He was squad number 15 at Everton. Number 10, the one that split the whole chat, the famous Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle question. What is Carlo Ancelotti's middle name? Is it Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, or David? Unfortunately, James, you fell for the bait. You fell for the bait and said David. Yeah, your favourite turtle Donatello wasn't in there, so you thought it must have been David. You want another guess? Is it Leonardo, Michelangelo, or Raphael? What do you think?
It's got to be Leonardo. It can't be Michelangelo. I refuse to believe that.
It's Michelangelo.
Oh. There's no way. I can't believe not seeing that on Twitter because people go mad for middle names like Nicodem and 4 and all sorts. I can't believe that.
Yeah. Next question is one that you got right. It's number 11. You said first club Yannick Bolasie was loaned to Aston Villa. Is the right answer. You got that one right. Next one, the pen merchant Andy Johnson. No, we're only joking, Andy. If you're watching, we'd love to have you on the channel sometime. Fulham, QPR, Palace, or Birmingham? You said Crystal Palace, and you were 100% right. Yeah, he did. He came from Palace. Number 13. Who was Everton captain before Phil Neville? Was it Alan Stubbs, Davy Weir, Kevin Campbell, or Ferguson? You got that one right as well. Davy Weir was Everton captain before. Next one. What club did Landon Donovan play for on loan that wasn't Everton? You said Bayer Leverkusen because you thought he was on loan from Bayern Munich. He was actually on loan at Bayern Munich. So you got that one wrong, unfortunately. And then the last question is Leandro Rodriguez wore what squad number for Everton? 28. You got that one spot on. So if you need any, if you need to go through the answers again, guys, before we finish, I'll read through every right answer. Just one more time in case you missed any. So question number 1, the answer was 2013. Question number 2, the answer was 34. Question number 3, the answer was 30. Question number 4, the answer was 34. Question number 5, the answer was 39,572. Question number 6, the answer was 8. Question number 7, the answer was £50 million. Question number 8, what was we on there? That was question number 7. Question number 8, the answer was 9 Umania skulls. Question number 9, what squad number did Cuco Martina have first? Was 15. Question number 10, Carlo Ancelotti's middle name is Michelangelo. Question number 11, Aston Villa. Question number 12, Andy Johnson signed from Crystal Palace. Number 13, Davy Weir was Everton captain before Phil Neville. And number 14, Landon Donovan played on loan at Bayern Munich. And number 15, Leandro Rodriguez wore squad number 28. So I'll tell you now that you did get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 answers right. James, you happy with 9, or do you think you should have had more?
I mean, I definitely should have. Oh, I'm annoyed about Donovan because I knew he played for Bayer Leverkusen, but that just ended up being pointless knowledge. Rodwell has frustrated me. Michelangelo, I can't believe that in a million years.
Funny enough, I actually said, why didn't you put Donatello in? And then he said, yeah, it was and then John actually told me in the chat that it was that it was a trap. And I actually have to Google that one for myself. Funny enough, it's not on his Wikipedia. You have to Google it yourself. I might nab that one. If the Toffee Blues aren't going to nab it for Twitter and put it on and try and get some retweets, I might put that one on Twitter.
Yes,
You'll never believe it.
Name, yeah. I'm pleased with that. Good question. Yeah. Good questions.
9 out of 15 is not bad. And next time you come on, hopefully we'll be able to do another one. But leave us your numbers in the chat, guys, for what you got. Inky Squid got 11, and Erwin Koeman also got 11. I think everyone pretty much fell for the bait. But yeah, if you guys have got anything more than 11, feel free to let me know before I end the stream. But yeah, James, thanks for coming on, mate. It's been an absolute blast. We've been live for an hour and a half, and people now in the chat are talking about who's got the best skinhead, Fabian Delph or Andy Johnson.
Andy Johnson.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, thank you all for watching. James, thanks for coming on. Philip Mason says, great stream, all good laugh at. Thanks, mate, and we'll definitely get another one going soon. Yeah, but check out the Babbling Blues if you haven't already, guys. It's really good Everton podcast, good to listen to, good to get some insight. And of course, they've just been talking about John Stones, and that was how we got the 50 million one, right? So yeah, but definitely go check it out. James, got anything you want to say to the viewers before we end?
No, not really. We're all enjoying a week away from Everton. It's been very relaxing. So I hope you continue in the same vein, because we haven't got a game till a week on Monday. So yeah, I hope everyone has a nice, relaxing first week of lockdown. Yeah, obviously, guys, hope you're all staying safe. Hope you're all staying safe. Hope you're all good. Hope you're all really, happy. And yeah, thank you very much for joining the stream. It's been a fun one. Thanks to Eugene McGeever. Thanks to Semi Charm Life. Thanks to Philip Mason, Inky Squid, Wormy Spoons, Erwin Koeman, everyone who's joined. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you very much. Up the Toffees, and we'll see you